Good evening and welcome to Scrapbooking with a Twist. Gonna try to do a few more base pages this evening. It's late again and I'm really tired. I don't feel perfectly good today. My eye's been bothering me and I've had a headache and I've been blowing my nose and I don't know what all's going on. But anyway, I don't feel very good. But I'm going to try to put together a few base pages. I really need to get this done. This first one, I've got some 8.5 by 11 pages that were given to me here a while back by a sweet, sweet friend. She gave me tons of paper, and in it were just a bunch of 8.5 by 11 solids and pattern papers. But these were in it. This was 8.5 by 11. I just cut it down. This was 8.5 by 11, and I just gutted part of it. But aren't those pretty? And I mean, that they're perfect colors for each other. They're not collections. I don't know what they were. But anyway, she gave them to me, and I like them. So I'm gonna make some base pages using some of them throughout this time of base pages. So this one, I think I'm going to just use almost this whole 8.5 by 11. This really pretty floral. It's got that kind of teal and almost peach color. I don't know, coral kind of color. It's so pretty. That's the colors I have in my bedroom, actually. And I love it. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So let's get this down. This is a little textured, but I think it's not very much. So I think this will hold. I may put it just a little bit of, I got to get under this. Let me see where I've got to get under it. I got to get it under it right there. So maybe I better not put any right there. I've got to get under that. I can do part of it, but not all of it. But I thought it was just so pretty. And then it had that, I found that polka dot, and I thought, well, that's pretty. And it looks pretty with it. And then I had a little scrap of this other kind of tone-on-tone kind of coral color that I thought it'd be good to go with it too. So that's what we're doing. Lots of scraps. Because these 8.5 by 11s are just pretty much, other than, now the cardstock isn't, but the prints just go in my scraps. Okay, I don't like this out here on this white because it just kind of melts into it. So I cut a piece of this that I pulled out of my scraps, just a little bit darker coral on coral. And I'm gonna just frame this little corner of this. Just really, I don't really want much glue. I want to just barely, and then I'll stick it down better, but I just barely want to get that on there. My goodness, I don't have my glasses on. How do I think I can do anything without my glasses on? Okay, so there's that, and that looks pretty straight. And then, because I want this to actually go under this, like that. And then it needs to move up a little though, because I want this down here. Come on, cooperate with me. I want this down here. I'm going to put a little piece on the bottom also. So let's kind of get this straight. I want about the same on both sides. So that looks pretty good. Let's see if we can get this in right down here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there to hold it. So I'm kind of working this puzzle piece. I want that side up. Let's see if we can get that in there. Pull it down just a little. There. I think that's good. Okay. I think that's good. So now I'm going to go around and glue this down. Oh, I took some medicine a while ago. I think it's starting to make me sleepy. It is late though. It's not like real late, like I've been, you know, it's not like 1 or 2 in the morning, but it's probably 11 or so. All right, so that's glued down. Let's get this glued down. I think that's glued down pretty good. And I'm just gonna have to do this the best I can. I hope it's somewhat straight. There. Straight enough for me. All right, so now that's down. Get a little right under there. Okay, now I can work on getting this glued down. All right, so that's got that. And I really think that's it. I think that's going to be it. I'm going to put, I don't know that I'll need that, but I'm going to put this in there in case I want to back some pictures, or even if I want to use it like that, and then maybe back pictures with these, or do some title or something. So I'm going to put that in with it, but I think that's how it's going to be. I love those papers. I think they're pretty colors. Kind of feminine, so I may have to find some more feminine pictures. I don't know. We'll see. I even thought I might fussy cut some of the flowers out of this one, but there aren't, I could use that one and those leaves and that, because I can always put them in, you know, up against an edge. So anyway, we'll see. We will see. Okay, the next one I'm going to do, I can always use blue for my boys. And then I'm going to toss this red in with it because I found this title. It says, Have a Blast. I found that title and I thought with the stars and everything, that would be kind of cute if I decide to go that direction. So I'm going to stick in these pieces of red just in case, because they're that same red. And then there's some blues. And this is just a little extra piece. But this is what I'm going to work with for right now. And I think I'm just going to do, let's see, is this 12 inches? Yes, it is. So this is the one that's not 12 inches. I think I had a piece that I had already cut. Let's see if I stuck it somewhere. Now, if I did, I've already used it for something else. And this is kind of a grayish, and I like it with these stars, but I'm going to have to cut it down because it is more than 12 inches. This is probably, oh no, it's this whole, yeah, I don't care too much for that bright pink. This whole packet was, it was long. Walmart paper is that way. It has that little thing at the top, but it's still kind of long. So let's just cut that down. So those two pieces are the same. Where is my trash can? Lost my trash can somewhere. There it is. So that they are the same. And then I think I want to cut a piece off of this. Maybe leave some whole stars. I think I'm going to cut that and then put a piece on each side. Let's see how that works. See if we've got enough to do that. Let's get that kind of in the middle. Get this on one side and get this on one side and see where we are. Because I need, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then this one over there with that in between. I don't know if I like that. I thought I would. Would it look better if this was narrower? Yes, it would. And I almost think it needs to be under too. Yeah, it would look better if it was narrower. And I was gonna like punch some of these stars out, so I might could save these stars too. Let's punch these out and see what happens. So I still have enough. I could cut another strip off of there. I'm gonna cut these stars out. These are almost the right size for some of my punches. So I'm just gonna try doing them with the punches instead of fussy cutting them. But let's see if we can still use this after I get these punched out. See if it's wide enough. If not, I believe it is. I believe it is. Okay, so I'll use those with something. So I'll do some of these out in here with my pictures to kind of tie it all together. So let's get this glued down. So I'm going to use some washi tape to position this so that it doesn't move and that I get the right size. Okay, and then we're going to put some glue on this, and we got to have some up there because I definitely weakened this paper by, you know, cutting those stars out. So I need to get some glue pretty much all around that. I don't think I'm very talkative tonight because I don't feel very good. I'll be fine. I've been trying to call I go to a retina doctor for the macular pucker that I have. And I was going to have surgery for it, and then the other doctor was going to do my cataract surgery at the same time. And things were, you know, I'm going to have puppies and all that stuff. Things were just getting too complicated. So I postponed that. But in the meantime, I've been having another problem that I've had for several years also. I have a blood vessel back in behind my eye that when I lean over, or let me see how much of this is extra. Like when I lean over, it makes it swell under my eye. And so I went to the doctor. I think it was like before COVID. I went to the doctor and he did an MRI. This is a different doctor, different eye doctor. And he did an MRI and said it wasn't pushing on the optical nerve. So just whenever I got ready to take care of it, you know, it'd be okay. So I pretty much just marked it off and said, you know, I'll just put up with it swelling some if it's not bothering anything, rather than have surgery. But it's been swelling and kind of, I feel pressure back in there. I've been having headaches. And so I started calling them this morning and going, you know, I think I'm going to have to take care of that before I do the others. Then when, maybe after if I could get this done, maybe before Christmas, then do the other after the first of the year, maybe. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. We'll see how that works. All right, let's try to get this where it's actually 12 by 12. And scoot down just a little. Scoot, scoot, scoot. There. Okay. All right. So there's that. Now, I think I dropped one of my stars, but anyway, there's, I'm going to just, like, I could tuck that star, like, under there, you know. Of course, I've got that all glued down, but I'll tuck some stars around to use those that don't have all the points on them. And then I've got these other star punches that I thought I would just punch these stars out to use, because I've got this paper that matches, well, that isn't it. I've got one that matches it really good that I can use, like, to back some pictures over here or something, and then use those stars, and I'll figure out something else too. But I think I want to do some punching on these stars, and I got to figure out kind of how to cut them out to be able to do that. Let's see how this works. So I've got this little one that hopefully I can use on this little bitty one. No, I don't think so. Try it on this one. Yeah, it's pretty good on that one. I'm going to have to get it where I can get a little closer to it, though. Let's try that. Oh, yeah, that one fits really good. And then this one, I think, will fit this one pretty good. And then, where'd my bigger one go? And then that one fits this one. So that's going to work out pretty good. Yep, that's going to work out pretty good. Okay, well, I'm not going to make you watch me punch out all of these stars, but that is my plan, to just punch out as many of these stars as I can. And I'm going to keep this in here, and it says have a blast. I don't know that that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to put some red in here, and I've got these blues. So I'm just going to kind of put all of that in there together, and we'll see how it turns out when we do a layout with it. So there is number 2 for tonight. I'm going to keep even that little bitty one just for now anyway. All right, so there's number 2. What did I do with the other one? There it is. And this one, is going to be number 3. And this one's going to be really simple. I found this scrap and I liked it. And this is a, I don't know, what are these? 8x8s maybe? No, it's 10x10. And I had several of these. Again, I just put them in my scraps because if I don't use them. And so I think I'm just gonna, that's kind of got a white line there. Let's trim that off just a tiny, tiny bit. But I've been trying to use some scraps and use them in the shape, the size, everything that they are, so that I don't have anything left. And so that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just playing off of that aqua. There's two different, there's a darker one and a lighter one. So I got the lighter for the background. I think I will gut this just so I have, like if I want to back the pictures. So I think I'm going to go ahead and gut this. Not waste all of that paper. I made a video of a layout the other night, and I forgot to do twist. That's the first time I've done that in ages. I don't know why. I just forgot to do a twist. I may have to go back and cut this a little more. Let's see. I'll put that right up there. Yeah, that needs to go a little deeper. So I'm not going to forget it tonight, hopefully. I've got one. My last base page is a little more complicated, so I think I'll do it with it. There's that. We work today. I'm in charge of a project that we have at church. We do shoe boxes. Many of you probably know Samaritan's Purse is an organization that Franklin Graham has, and it's called Samaritan's Purse. They do many, many, many things, but one of the things they do is they ship shoe boxes, Christmas shoe boxes, all over the world to children. And then when they get those shoe boxes, they attend, and they can bring their whole family, and they attend a Bible study, and they, just literally teach the gospel. So our church, excuse me, we fill 100 shoe boxes every year. And so we collect, and I collect all year long. I put a list in our bulletin to tell them, what we're collecting and the different things that they can look for, that kind of stuff. And then, a couple of weeks ago, I went shopping and finished out everything that we would need. And I've got it all in tubs, and everything is labeled, because you do boys 2 to 4, girls 2 to 4, boys 5 to 9, girls 5 to 9, boys 10 to 14, and girls 10 to 14. So we have different things for different age groups. So I have everything labeled on, which boxes they can go in, and literally we have a pretty nice size fellowship hall. And it used to be our sanctuary. It's our old church before we built our new sanctuary. And I have tables set up down one whole wall of it, nearly the entire length of the building, and those tubs and everything are on it. And our people did a super, super job of getting things this year. We put a little backpack in every one of them. We put a coloring book that has a little thing at the bottom that describes it, but it from creation all the way to the resurrection. And then and crayons and markers, and we do see what else we do little journals for the girls. We do some kind of tools and things for the older boys. We do stuffed animals, t-shirts, underwear, socks, toothbrushes, pencils, pens, erasers, glue sticks, caps like ball caps, all other kinds of toys. I mean, we stuff our shoe boxes to where we have to put like 2 rubber bands around it to keep it from like just springing open. And then they go to a collection center and they have to go through them to make sure there's nothing in them, because you can't send liquids or batteries or, you know, things like that. And they go through them, but they have to put everything back in the shoebox. And one of our ladies worked distribution center last year, and she said she was so proud of our shoeboxes because ours were so full, and some send their shoeboxes and they're not full and they have to add to them, but they have to put everything back in it that they took out of it. I found these. There is just no telling how old these are and never been used. They cost $1. And I mean, they're like multi-layered ephemera, so there's no telling how old they are. But I've opened them, I've just never used them. And they've got the perfect, because there's like that lime green and the kind of turquoise. So they've got some perfect things in here for them, for this. So I'm going to, I wouldn't use the pink ones, but I'm just going to put that in there with them. Maybe I'll take the pink ones off and stick them back in here, because I won't use the pink ones. But that's really, oh, that's weird. It's got some on it. Really kind of close to that. So I think I'll leave, actually, I'm just going to cut this. Probably won't use the vacation one. I mean, I guess I could, depending on what pictures I find to go with this, but I'm going to leave it in there because it's the right colors. And I'm going to put those back, so I may use those on something else. Okay, so there's that one. So that's 3 already. I think I am going to go ahead and do the 4th one. This may be getting a little long, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I only did 2 in the last one. This one is going to be a little more complicated, so I've got to kind of get it together. So I'm just going to be doing some gluing, and you've already seen me do a bunch of this. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to do the twist. The twist is, I heard this on a devotional. I believe that maybe Jack Hibbs or somebody does. I forgot who did it. But I really, really, really liked it. And so I just kind of borrowed it from him. I'm pretty sure it was Jack Hibbs in one of his daily devotional things. So I want to give credit to who did it. But it was telling the story of David when he David, you know, who became king, David who killed Goliath. When he was a young man, they were fighting the Philistines, Goliath and his people. They were fighting them, and he would just come out and he would just defy God. And so David's dad had sent him his brothers. David was the youngest, and his dad sent him to check on his brothers and take some bread and some cheese to them, you know, because they're on the lines fighting. And so David does, and he sees Goliath just defying their God. And he goes to Saul and he says, why didn't somebody take care of this guy? He can't just talk that way about our God. And so, and Saul says, well, it's because everybody's afraid of him. And David says, well, I'm not afraid of him. And Saul said, you're just a young kid, a young man. You can't go fight this man. He's a professional warrior. And David said, well, I fought a lion and killed him, and I fought a bear and killed him when I was taking care of sheep, and I can fight this guy and I can kill him too. And so Saul begins to put his armor on David. And so that's the scripture that I'm going to use for tonight. And it's 1 Samuel 17, 38 and 39. And it says, Then Saul dressed David in his own tunic. He put a coat of armor on him and a helmet on his head. David fastened on his sword over the tunic and tried walking around because he was not used to them. I cannot go in these, he said to Saul. And then I'm not going to read the rest of it, but he takes off Saul's armor, and then you pretty much know the rest of the story. He picks up 5 smooth stones, and he uses his slingshot, and he kills Saul. And so the reason I chose that and the way this devotional goes is the world's armor doesn't fit Christians. Saul tried to put his armor on him, and David knew that Saul's armor wasn't going to work. It was too big, it was too bulky, it was too everything. So for a Christian, the world's armor just doesn't work. It doesn't fit us. We have to take on the armor of God, the full armor of God. And when we do that, then we are equipped to fight the battles that we need to fight in this world. We are equipped to face the evils of this world that try to attack us, and they won't be successful because we have the armor of God. And so in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18, it tells us what that armor of God is. And it talks about faith and salvation and the word of God and truth and righteousness and prayer. So those, and it says, the helmet of salvation and the sword of the word and that kind of stuff. But those things are our armor. The world's armor doesn't work for us. And I thought that was a pretty neat application of that story and of that scripture. Okay, so there is that, and I'll need to trim that a little bit. This is like some of my oldest paper, oldest scrap. And see, it's got a torn spot there, but I'm going to cover that up. I'm going to start with this, and when I put it on there like that, it just didn't do what I wanted it to. So I went ahead and just cut a really thin little frame. This is kind of that grayish pink that is in this. So it all kind of works together. But I'm going to use a lot of different pieces. They're all in the same kind of color scheme. I should have used tape on this. But a lot of different scraps. And I really wanted to use this one. Kind of an unusual color. And I thought, it goes with that and I want to use it. But it just was too bland. So I'm going to do it in this white, and I think it'll kind of make it pop. And I put a really narrow border just to make it stand out. Okay, and then we're going to do this one the same way. And that was okay in the middle of it, but look how much better it looks if it's got that little pop of white around it. Now this, I do need to use glue because it's got that texture on that back side. I ordered some Nuvo, and I think I'm going to leave the original top on one, so when I'm doing backs of things like this and I want more glue, it'll produce more glue than my little fine point. I love that fine point, but when you want more glue, like for the back of a picture or this, it pretty slow. And I never get anything on straight, so we're not gonna worry about that. So there are those two, and I have one more smaller one that I'm gonna do, and I can tape it. It's smooth. I don't know how many of these I'll actually get done. I don't know that I'll get all 20 done. I did last year, but I just don't know. With 2 litters of puppies and my eye and all the things that are going on, I just don't know that I'll get, but I'm going to get as many done as I can. I love this one. Now I've got to decide where I want to put these. I was kind of thinking, I don't know. I like it better that way. I don't like that gap there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is to do a lot of just overlapping. I like that more, so let's move that over. I think that's kind of where I think I want to go with it, something about like that. Or do I just want to leave it, and then when I figure out what pictures? Because I found this that Marilyn Goff did in a swap, and isn't that pretty? Look at those colors with that. I'd really like to use that on this. Do I need to come down and close that off? I just thought that was so pretty with it. And then I've got, oh, I've got this. I forgot about that. I had this piece. I kind of evened it up, and I thought I might stick it in under there, just to kind of perk that up a little more. And then I've got a little bit of scraps, and I just pulled out some other pinks that kind of work with this. I've got these little birds that Wren made that I could put in there, but I've also got this, and I don't know who did this. It doesn't have a name on it, but it has these same colors in it. So I don't know. I just really think this looks pretty with this though. And I like that bird with it. So I'll keep these things with it. And I had a bunch of these from something left over, so I thought they'd be pretty with it too. So I'm going to leave all of that in here with it, and all these little pieces in case I want to punch something. And then, but I got to decide what I want to do with this. Is what I got to do. I think I'm just going to go with this. That was kind of my first impression, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. So let's get this on this. again, this is textured, so it needs liquid adhesive. Okay, there's that. Okay, I think that's even enough for me. And then get it on there. Just kind of centered. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay. And then this one, I think, and I'm going to do this very lightly just in case I need to move it around. I can always glue it down more. But I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do that. And then I'll have that embellishment to put over there. I am just going to do that. And then I'm going to toss these things in there. And those things and those things, and put those in with it. All right. I so appreciate you dropping by and scrapbooking with me tonight and just letting me share with you. You could have been anywhere doing anything, and you decided to drop by and be with me, and I appreciate that. So I hope you have a blessed day and be a blessing to someone else.